What a phenomenal recovery it has been for our markets, and across the board. I mean, most pockets of the markets are participating in the upside for the last two sessions at least, and the advanced decline ratio heavily in the favor of the bulls. I mean, where do we go from here, sir? Can we get back to those all-time high levels or possibly to 23,000 anytime soon?
Good morning, Suyash. So yes, the highlight of yesterday's market was the crash in VIX, 20 odd percent crash. And this just indicates that there is stability which is back in the system. Last week, exactly at this point, in fact, when I was on your show, the market was around 22,000 and there was blood on the street. There was panic all around. And I did say that, whenever there is such a situation, panic is always short-lived. And when it recovers after that panic, that recovery has been hard. And that has been backed by data points. Whenever such situations have happened in the past, you can pull out the records, how the market reacts after such how it impacts after such catastrophic situations. Now, broadly, as I see the index here, 22,200 is a short-term support base. Stability is back in the system. Now, market is shrugging off its fears and getting back into the momentum mode as it has been before. 22,500 holds validity if you are a weekly trader. That's a short-term trading support, would not have much of a relevance. As you rightly mentioned, it is heading for its all-time high levels, and that should be achievable very soon. So a very strong build-up in the Nifty. Longs are getting added. The shorts are getting squeezed out of the system back again. And as we head into the election season, I think from here on, again, the market should reattempt and cross its all-time high levels as I see the broader technical setup on the price charts.
Alright, and we'll get to Bank Nifty because today is the weekly expiry for the Bank Nifty FNO contracts, and also we have Axis Bank that will report its numbers. I mean, it will be a choppy session for Bank Nifty, and 48,000 of course has been that resistance zone. We are above it currently, but Akshay, 46,500, 600 odd mark is where we went in this correction. Are we done with that? Are we going back to that anytime soon, or are we done with that for now, or for good rather?
Yes, we are done. That's for good, because now if you are considering those levels, then it means that the market might get into an issue. That's not the case. As I see the recovery, now the base is shifted up now to 47,500. That's the reading I derive based on the short-term trading parameters. And today is the weekly expiry, so it might be a bit tricky, but it may surprise you as well on the upside, because we have opened above the 48,000 mark. And if you see the data points, a lot of call writers are positioned as on yesterday at the strikes of 48,000. So it will be interesting to see whether how the call writers react, whether they can be squeezed out further, whether if they do, then 48,500 can be the surprise factor for today's expiry itself. And again, sailing north, 49,000 plus are the levels Bank Nifty should be heading to very soon. So I have a positive outlook. 47,500 is the new base which Bank Nifty has formed, and be ready for all-time highs in Bank Nifty, which may hit very soon as we move into the May month.
Good morning, Akshay. Now, Tata Consumers announced their results yesterday, and there was a big fall in net profits, over 20% year on year from last year. Revenues jumped almost 8.5%, marginal jump. The board announced a dividend of almost 175%, 7 rupees 75 rupees per share of 1 rupee. Their EBITDA went up 23% to 629.6 crore. The share is down 4% today. It is down almost 3% in the last 5 days. Time to get in. What do you make of Tata Consumers, or is it the sector which is basically falling short because of weak rural demand over the last 1 year that is adding to these numbers for Tata Consumers?
Oh, yes. So Tata Consumers, the results has seen the stock slipping a bit, maybe around 4-5%. But broadly, as I read on the charts, it's not much to panic about. Chart structure still signals that it's a buy on dip stock. A base of 1080 is already formed in the stock, and this dip is, I feel, offering you another opportunity to get into this stock from a short-term trading perspective. So 1100 is the support zone I see. If you're okay with buying on dips, that's the level you should be keeping in mind. Your stop losses should be below 1070, and a recovery attempt should be made by the stock very soon, which can see it testing its recent swing highs, which we saw a couple of days back at around 1175. So 1175, that's the first set of targets I'll be working with, and 1225, that's the target, the main target I will be aiming at. So a positive view broadly, it's a buy on dip stock. Post results might take a bit of a time to kind of settle down, but yes, be on the buying side still on Tata Consumers.
All right, another stock we wanted to pick your brains on is Bharti Airtel. I mean, the stock has been on a tear lately. It has, yesterday it surged by about 4% to hit a record high. In fact, even this morning the stock is up nearly, I mean, it's up marginally, but again, at record high levels. Akshay, volumes are good, but, on the price charts I'm looking at, it's relatively in that, oversold, overbought zone actually. RSI is in that 75-76 territory. What's your take here? Are we approaching that, the resistance zone over here, or is more upside in the offing for Bharti Airtel?
Yes, so telecom space has been on a roll lately, and a lot of stocks are completely outperforming this pack. Bharti Airtel, if I were to speak specifically, it's in a very strong chart structure. Still, there are upside targets of probably around 1400, 1430 due to come in the days. But if you're a fresh entrant or waiting to buy for this stock, I think it makes more sense to wait for a slight dip around 1300, which would be a more lucrative level from a risk reward payoff for taking a trade. So the positive view continues. 1400, 1420 is on. Just for new entrants, wait for a slight dip whenever it offers you an opportunity. 1300 is the right level to get into. Keep a stop loss below 1275, and then you may see the momentum taking it to the target areas which I mentioned.
1300 for Bharti and buy on dips on Tata Consumers. But Akshay, what are your picks for our investors today?
Yes, so these are more technical picks from trading perspective. The first stock I would name here is TVS Motors from the auto space. It's more of a recovery candidate, has been beaten down in the last 15-20 trading sessions, attempting a good recovery, and I believe auto space can have a good trading bounce from the way the trading parameters hint for. So the target areas I look forward to is 2014, that's the first target, 2032, that's the second target, and I would keep a stop loss of 1918 on this trade. Second trade here is in Powergrid. That's from the power sector. And if you look at the broader chart structure, this sector has been on a roll. Little bit of momentum lately, but I believe the momentum should be on soon. Expect targets of 297 to 305 in Powergrid with a stop loss of 277. So Powergrid and TVS Motors are the two trades for the viewers.